What's up, folks? I'm not gonna let this get me down too much, but I feel embarrassed. I feel completely embarrassed. I feel like a fraud, like an imposter. Uh, so, a guy I know from this gym heard me talking about my book and was like, "Oh," and I told him it when he was really interested about it, and he actually went to the bookstore here in town and bought it. And over time, he's like, "Oh, I'm reading it. I really like it. It's good." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna find an error in there. There's one. I my brother's sister pointed out to me. He goes, "Oh, actually, I found a few, but I usually don't." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I found a few. It." He goes, "I'm really good at seeing those things. All right." So I was like, "Oh, well, tell me what they are, man. I'll fix them." Luckily, I'm self-published, right? So there's this thing like self-published. It's just people who put out a bunch of shit, which I feel like I'm one of those people now. Um, but the benefit of being self-published is I can go in and fix the stuff. Now, for the people who bought my book already, um, those are people I feel bad for. Anyways, so he said, yeah. In fact, he was encouraged to start over, start reading from the beginning, and he marked the errors in red and suggestions in blue, which is pretty cool, right? And he gave it to me yesterday. And this is it, right? This is his copy of my book. I don't know. And you can see all these suggestions he made. There's not one or two or three or like, there's a bunch. And then I read through them and I realize that they're legit. Not taking his eyes off the candy. It's off the candy. He would have to fix thing like things. It is things. There's so many of these. One thing we haven't questioned is some of these commas that he's added. Uh, which I don't think I agree with, but I'll look up. But the thing is that's just part of it. There's a lot of legit. Where's the word? Why did I leave out the word the? By time Pierre made the trek from the bus station to the front of Esperanza's shop. By the time. By the time. Why did I leave out the? And why did I never see it? I never saw it. And here's another frustrating part. I paid a lot of money. For me, a lot of money to hire somebody. I put a price on stupid Upwork, and this woman was like, you're gonna have to pay me more than that. And I was drawn to her because of her confidence, because that she insisted on being paid more money, and I paid that amount of money, thinking that I could publish my book with confidence, not having to worry. These are obviously things I do not see. I am not smart enough. I'm a big fucking dummy when it comes to this stuff. I do not see these things. I'm not aware of them. I don't know them. I can't. If I don't know what a wild edible plant looks like, I'm gonna be stepping all over it because I have no idea. And that's how I am with this grammar and shit. I have no idea. So I don't know what to look for. And that sucks. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you bought my book and read it and it has all this fucked up errors in it. That's why I have a feeling that's why people aren't writing reviews. That's why maybe people are like, yeah, I got your book, can't wait to dig into it. And then I never hear from them again because of shit like that. Anyways, on a positive note and a positive perspective, let's assume that my story is so good that people fly through it and put in the things, the words that are, and just put in the words that are missing, right? They just put them in themselves. I can't believe how many words are just there, and I never saw it. I read it. A gazillion times. I was gonna say hundreds of them. Like, no, hundreds is too much. I didn't read it 100 times, so I said gazillion. I read it over and over and over again. Other people have read it and haven't come back, and some have said, "Ooh, I found something." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's a little embarrassing, but okay, I'll fix it." But this guy found a lot, and they're legit, with the exceptions of I have to do some research and find out where you put commas at the end of a quotation, if there is a question mark or an exclamation mark in the end, right? I'm smart enough to know that you put a comma. Today is Friday, comma, quotation mark. He said, "What day is it?" Question mark, quotation. He asked. I don't know. I don't know what goes there. So, anyways, this guy who proofread this for sport, I'm gonna hire him to proofread my next book, Maris Oliveira. Oh, what I was gonna say is that the stories are good. And that's probably what saved my ass with some people who read the book and gave me positive feedback. That the story itself is good. And I'm a good storyteller, I think. Maybe I'm not a good writer. It's not my fault I didn't learn this shit in school. It's not my fault that I didn't know I wanted to be a writer and that I should study writing and take classes. I was too busy being concerned about my weight and spending all my energy learning about nutrition and exercise. Anyways, that's it. I'm sorry if you bought my book and it's full of errors and you wasted your money. I'll try to make it up somehow. I promise. Thanks.